We are back in a Thursday edition of Danny and Cello. I am Danny Williams, Marcello Romano, the sports paisan right there. It's the guy right there. Chavi producing the product. We have a good one today. They're all pretty good, but this one especially, Cello. We have something here that I think we're solutions-oriented, okay? That's the way we're brought up, okay? So it's easy to say the Broncos are going to win the AFC West because that's all I've been hearing, Cello. And like more and more and more. We have a TV in the kitchen that's always on, a little TV in the kitchen for background noise for the dog. It's just always on. It's either on ESPN, but most of the time it's on CBS Sports for some reason. And I've just been seeing all these guys' predictions, former players' predictions, their playoff bracket, and all has the Broncos 3 seed, 5 seed. Today I saw an analyst have them as a 2 seed going into the playoffs. If that's the case, in front of the Bills, then the Broncos win the AFC West. So just how exactly do the Denver Broncos do that? Because that's the first step, right, is winning the AFC West. It's easy to just say 11 wins, 12 wins, but how exactly, Cello, do they do that? Give me one reason why they do that and how they do that.
Let's put a little pin in it first.
Okay.
First thing is you have a TV, a kitchen TV?
Yeah.
On all the time.
On all the time in the corner of the kitchen.
Like Mr. Belvedere.
It's about a little bit smaller than this TV right here that we're looking at right here.
But it's on constantly.
100%.
Okay. To answer your question, how they actually win the AFC West, they're going to need help. I think this division's going to have to. Well, let me ask you this. I'll fire back with another question for you.
AMA, ask me anything.
What's the best division in football?
The best division in football?
This year, going into 2025, what are we expecting? Which divisions are up there?
I'd say the AFC West because you have literally a dynasty in the midst, hopefully at the end in the Chiefs, and then 2 other double-digit winners in the Chargers and the Broncos. So it's probably the AFC West.
Is there another division that you would even put up against?
No, because I don't believe in the Steelers this year and Aaron Rodgers. I was trying to make maybe a case for the North, the AFC North. I can't do it. Can't do it.
What about the NFC North?
I will.
Packers, Lions, Vikings, and then we don't know what the Bears are going to be.
Vikings take a step backwards. Packers still have some work to do. And the Lions, I'm now not so sure. I think this is the first year people are going to push back on the Lions a little bit of like, hey, are we going to do this or not? Everyone's rooting for you. You know what I mean?
Okay. I'll go along with you that it's the best division of football. So in order to win that.
Was that the right answer to your question?
I would put the NFC North up there because I don't think the Lions are falling off anytime soon.
So it was a trick question.
There you go.
These weren't in my notes.
I'll go along with you and you say AFC West. If it's not the best, it's 1A.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that. But to win that division, you're almost going to have the division kind of cannibalize one another.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
You're going to have the Chiefs split with the Chargers and the Broncos probably.
Yeah.
You're going to have one of those games where it's like you didn't expect a loss here or there, and then you just look at the overall strength of schedule that these teams are going up against this year. You can't have drops in games. All right? You can't have in this first 2 weeks, you got to come out of them in 2-0, don't you? I mean, you have the Titans to open up the season, and then you have the Colts. And on paper, you would look at it, Danny, and say, these are the 2 teams. Those are games you have to have if you want to get to, and before we even started, you said 10, 11, 12. You even went up to 13. Well,
not 4, not 5, not like LeBron's, Hey, so, yeah, man, I can't. We've heard as 13 the max. We've heard 13. There's a consensus 11 to 10 wins. That still is a tall task. That's still, if they go 0-2 out of the gate, I don't think that happens. No way. I don't think they can afford anybody, anybody meaning the Chargers and the Chiefs and the Broncos, afford to stumble out of the gate and win the division. No one's winning 13 games because of this division and how it's going to, beat each other. They're going to beat each other up, man. And then I think the Raiders probably, as the season gets along, get a little bit better. And Pete Carroll's going to motivate those guys. They'll surprise some people. Even if they win 6 games, 5 or 6 games, it's probably 3 more wins than a lot of people have them winning. But, okay, so how do the Broncos win the division? What has to happen? Okay, I have one thing here. I have a bunch. push back against this or accept this.
All right.
Okay. One way the Broncos win this division, Cello, is the Broncos defense is not just good and not just number one or number two or number three, but they get into this stardom kind of really special nucleus of a defense that usually lasts a couple years. Can't really, they never last more than a couple few years. And it's good enough to carry this team through the regular season, maybe even deep into the playoffs. Really special come together, like this is the ascension of the entire defense that some people have them kind of doing, but also I remember 70 points against the Dolphins. That was not that long ago. Right? So is there a chance that happens?
There is. I mean, I think, Kay Adams was in town the other day.
Yeah, giggity.
I want to say that it was when she was getting Pat Surtain to talk a little bit more openly about it, that he was saying that they have an opportunity to be one of those historically great defenses.
Yeah.
And that's what you're talking about here. Listen, man, normally when that happens, I don't know if let's go back to the fly zone. No fly zone.
Okay. Diddle-oo, diddle-oo, diddle-oo. Sorry.
Did we project that year?
No.
No.
We were hanging our hat on 55 touchdowns and 5,500 yards. That's what it was all about.
Yeah, so it was like you're going to have to get
Defense
back
was
that
like,
way.
I guess.
But look at the talent that was on that team, and I think that could happen.
Yeah.
Your scenario could happen. But
that's not my scenario. That's a way that if this does kind of happen.
That's one way.
I mean, that's, again, we can, statisticalize this thing. How likely is this defense going to turn into a historically good defense? Probably not a historically good defense, but has a chance to be a really, really good defense that could take them to 11 wins, 12 wins, which probably is the magic number, 12 wins to win this division. Right?
And Sean Payton alluded to it when he sat down with Kay Adams too, saying they got to start quicker.
Yeah.
They have dug themselves a hole both of the years that he's been here.
Yeah.
And you can't do that, especially with what's on the schedule. But it's interesting to see and kind of hear. Now I'm hearing all this Cam Ward buzz about this guy looks like he's going to be great, wants to be great.
Well, there's a couple guys who are quarterbacks in every single draft, even drafts that don't have 6 quarterbacks.
No, I know, but that's week 1's opponent.
Okay.
One that we had chalked up as a W right away, right?
Yeah. It'll make it interesting, but the Broncos go take care of business in week 1. Cam Ward might rush for one and throw for one impressively and look like a guy like, uh-oh. But, yeah, Broncos got to come out and get a couple early wins. Bo Nix was 4 picks, no touchdowns through 2 games, right? Mm-hmm. Look like, did you keep your receipt? Hope we can get our money back on this guy. You know what I mean, right? It was like a little buyer's remorse, but it ended up working itself out to the point where I've said this like 100 times, 29 touchdowns from Bo Nix. It's like, damn, after that slow start, that's how good he was in the rest of the 15 games. Yeah, that's impressive stuff, okay?
No, and I've told you this stat before, too, but one of 4 quarterbacks to have, I think it was throw over 3,000, rush over 400.
Yep.
And over 25 touchdowns.
Yep.
And the first 3 make sense. It's like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels with that crazy rookie season. And then the 4th one is Bo Nix from last year. That was his rookie season. So I guess a lot of people are pumping the brakes because we're not really seeing that in camp so far. And you didn't see it in preseason game 1. So you want to see it going forward from here on out. And then last year, Danny, if it wasn't for Jonathan Taylor helping the Broncos get back into that Colts game, they would have probably lost that one too.
Well, we know, Tim Tebow showed us anything is possible in life. You know what I mean? Like, won games in the most improbable ways and fashions. I'm trying to find something on my phone. I don't do this during the show usually, but it's a stat that one of 2 players in the history of the NFL as a rookie did. It was 10 wins, 4,000 total yards, 25 over 30 total touchdowns, and one other stat, one of 2 guys in the history of the NFL. One was Bo Nix, and I don't actually know who the other guy was. It wasn't on the screen, but I have it here and I'll find it. But that's basically it. 10 wins as a rookie, 4,000 total yards, that's rushing and passing, 30 plus touchdowns, and one other stat, which, I mean, it might have been Jaden actually, but it also might have been, I don't know, Ben Roethlisberger or one of those guys. So another way that the Broncos win the AFC West is, and again, these are long shots. These are like not improbables, because anything's possible. And if you believe it in your heart, how can you be wrong?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but if Bo Nix enters stardom, borderline superstardom, is a 30 touchdown plus perennial guy, is just a winner no matter what. He's winning 10 or 11 games. Doesn't always look pretty. We're not sure last year kind of how they got there, but it happened, and he led them. If Bo Nix enters, he's right on the cusp, say Herbert territory, and you're knocking on the door there of MVP candidacy, and Lamar Jackson, Burrow, Mahomes, Allen turf. If that happens, the Broncos are definitely have a chance to win this division and more. How likely, Cello, is that?
That he enters stardom?
Yeah. This year, 2025.
Do you want me to rank it between that and your defensive take?
I mean, yes.
Probably
sure.
more likely.
More likely. Okay,
Probably
I agree
more
with that.
likely in my
I agree
opinion.
with that. Because historically great defenses don't come around very often.
No, and it's hard to replicate it year after year.
Yeah.
It's not usually something, I mean, you can say, oh, that defense was good. And like you said, it's usually like a window of 3 to 4 years that you have that type of defense. But normally, and I brought this up the other night when I was on Denver Sports Tonight, Danny, it was a year ago today. The Denver Broncos roster was ranked as like one of the worst in football.
DFL.
Not only that, but then you look at what they were doing defensively. We said Pat Surtain and some peeps, right?
Yeah.
Nobody knew these names.
No.
Nobody knew these names.
Nobody.
And now you're talking about them going in just a calendar year later
Yeah.
and saying this team could be one of the most historically great defenses of all time.
So do you have a in statement to that take, or is it just the beauty of the NFL as one team goes from worst to first and one goes from first to worst? Did I say that right? Every single year in the NFL. That's the beauty of the league.
My concern is, and this is why I think the benefit of not playing well last Saturday night is like bring you down a little bit. You may have been reading your press clippings a little too much about how good everyone thinks you are. And you brought up this conversation when you sent it to us this morning. You're like, everyone nationally is on board.
Yeah.
Like you're seeing, and I said it last week. You had Colin Cowherd, you had Chase Daniel, you had, I think Dan Patrick has gotten in the loop about people putting the Broncos up there.
Hearing a lot of former player analysts, like recently retired guys, on board with the Broncos and are really just liking what the Broncos are doing and projecting the Broncos.
So it's the hype is there now. How do you deal with it?
Okay. Ask me how the Broncos win the AFC West.
Wait a second here. Hey, Danny.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
How do the Broncos win the AFC West?
Okay, so Aura.
You've given me two.
Yeah.
Is this what you really believe now?
This is something that could happen that I think is playing out right now. I think that aura of who the Chiefs have been over the past couple years, a dynasty, okay, carried them through last season into the playoffs and all the way to the Super Bowl. But history tells us that no team in the history of the league over 60 Super Bowls has won 3 straight Super Bowls. So we should have saw that coming. Also, aura, okay, that doesn't last forever. I'm being serious here. Aura doesn't last forever, and the Chiefs are losing that aura a little bit. If you saw Katy Perry at the concert here at Ball Arena, she's just doing a little bit of this. She's not even doing her real moves. It's like she doesn't have it anymore. It's not the same Katy Perry. Bruno Mars has lost the fastball. Giving it to you in a couple different ways, sir. I think the Chiefs have lost maybe, Cello, that aura a little bit, and we're seeing it coming. When it goes quick. I think that carried them through last season. The Chiefs are not going to be 11-0 in one-score games. What if they're 6-6 or 7-4?
Dude, I could have maybe got on board with the Katy Perry take. I mean, she's had
I know you pushed back. Don't push back against the Bruno Mars thing.
Bruno's at the Sphere in Vegas. Is that somebody that's fallen off?
Yeah, he's trapped there. He can't leave because he's in millions of dollars of gambling debt. They won't let him off the premises.
They don't let anybody perform at the Sphere. So it's like, if you're going to push on that, then I'll be like, I'll turn it back and say, Pat Mahomes has visions of being the greatest of all time. You can do that when you steal a couple Super Bowls, probably before your time. The dude's already played in how many, Danny?
The pushback, Cello?
How many Super Bowls?
5.
How many did John Elway play in?
John Elway played in 6 Super Bowls.
6?
5 Super Bowls.
5.
Lost 3 and won 2.
There we go.
Sorry.
And that took him, 17, 18 years to get there?
Yeah.
Here's where the concern is with, don't be so quick to throw dirt on the Chiefs.
Okay.
And I don't think they're Katy Perry yet.
Well, you just...
You think he's lost his fastball?
I'll say this. You just ruined a super hot take of mine. Thank you for doing that. I thought that's some of my best stuff, and I feel totally deflated now. No,
you could have went like Mariah Carey.
No, I think Katy Perry was the perfect comp. Here's what I'm saying, Cello. I'm going to follow up to what you said. Great stuff by you, okay? But my pushback would be that it's only been Tom Brady who kind of had a championship run and then like a reboot, not a rebuild. And then he comes back in the second half of a career and they kind of do it again if you want to throw in the Tampa Bay one to the end of his kind of run too. He's the only guy in the history of the league, Cello, who has done that. He's the only guy in the history of the league who's ever. So Mahomes' window here, championship window, is about been as long as like the Montana Young window, the Elway run, the Peyton Manning kind of. His career was unique in a sense, but these championship kind of runs, teams as a whole, windows with the coach, who and what they are, last about as long as what the Chiefs have done and are doing right now. So
I would argue that one's already lasted longer than most.
So Cello, if I want to ask you this, I think that Patrick Mahomes, I think you disagree with this, is teeing off on the 13th hole of his career right now, 29 years old. I think he's got the body of a 31, 32-year-old. You're going to push back against that, right?
Yeah, he's 29.
And you look at that as young. I look at that as kind of old for some reason.
Really? That's crazy to me.
But you're comparing him to Tom Brady playing till 45.
I'm comparing him to a lot of people playing much longer than they used to.
But don't most guys kind of play till 34, 35 years old?
Listen,
Aren't
man,
all those guys who played in their late 30s kind of anomalies and all-time
Danny,
physical greats too in some senses?
You could be exactly right in this sense, that once he hits that wall, it's done. We've seen it. Dry land is not a myth. We've seen it. We saw it with Peyton Manning. We saw him play to that level, and then when it fell off, and some of that was due to injury.
Yeah, well, and Father Time, which is, again, once it goes quick. And that goes to the team as a whole, too, getting back to like the Chiefs being dethroned in a sense. How does that happen? Andy Reid can't be doing this for 2, 3, 4 more years. There's no chance. I'd say Andy Reid's on a year-to-year kind of proposition right now and probably doesn't coach this team 2 years from now. I would say that. So if that's kind of the case, well, then is the next guy gonna be able to do all the things that now Andy Reid, who's played himself into being like a top 5 head coach in the history of the league, can he do that same kind of stuff? And then, Kelsey won't be there. Chris Jones won't be there. A lot of the guys who are kind of who and what has made that team so special will not be there. It'll only be Mahomes. So I think this is ripe time. And I think who and what the Chiefs were carried them through last season.
You're talking about something that's a couple years down the road.
No, I'm saying that.
What about right now?
I'm saying
because
last year
Kelsey
they were riding that.
There.
Last
Chris
year,
Jones is still there. Andy Reid is still there. And they're coming off a season where they essentially lost 2 games. Correct? I mean,
yeah, but they were 11-0 in one-score games. They're not going to do that again. You can't do that again.
I think they're going to come back to the pack. I just don't think you're ready to throw dirt on top of them.
No.
They're going to be still the biggest opponent you have to win this division.
Are the Chiefs right now in an still ascending, or are they in a decline?
Ooh, I think they're plateauing.
They're plateauing.
Yeah.
So plateauing means we're there. So we're at the top. I guess we got to go down now, right?
No, you got to walk the top.
How long can you walk the plateau for?
I don't know. That's my concern. That's my concern with that team, is that I know a lot of people, especially after how they.
You don't think last year could have been the start of a swan song a little bit?
Certainly could have. I could be wrong. This is just my opinion.
I'm asking you what you think. Firm it up. Tell me.
I think after you get beat down the way you did in the fashion you did in the Super Bowl, and had they won, I believe Travis Kelce probably would have called it quits.
Does that show you they're a tier, a nice tier below who and what the best is right now in the league? The Eagles, maybe the Lions could do them like that. Maybe the Bills are going to pass them. Maybe the Broncos are knocking on the door. Is that?
Yeah, it's fair.
Okay.
But I would ask you this. You remember in Super Bowl 48?
Yeah.
When the Broncos got beat up by the Seahawks. We were doing a show at that point. We came on the air the very next day and said, if they played that game 10 times, what is the result?
Yeah.
Is it 50-50? or the Seahawks that much better.
Yeah.
What do you think the Chiefs believe after losing the way they did to the Eagles?
Worst day possible. Weren't all the way prepared. They were hungrier than the Eagles.
Okay,
Lots
what do
of
you
different
believe?
things.
You think they're declining?
I think that was the yes. I
Okay.
think they're declining. But they were riding who and what they were, that aura, I said, all the way to the Super Bowl. That's how much
That's
they
like
still
word
have
of
in
the
the
day
tank.
today.
Yeah, it is.
It's like
Or
Pee-wee's
Life
Herman.
Force. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to say this right now. I have a few ways right now that the Broncos win the AFC West and even more, okay? The Broncos defense goes into some rare air, okay? It doesn't have to be historic, but really special rare air. Allows Bo Nix to be just Ben Roethlisberger and Russ early in their careers, which was good enough as a whole for those teams to win Super Bowls.
I like that.
Okay, so that's one way. Another way is Bo Nix enters kind of this rare air himself, stardom, okay? And which is you think, and I think is maybe more likely than kind of any other ways. And lastly, I'll say, and I want to know what you think, is that the Chiefs are in the decline. And maybe a slow decline. They're still got the heart of a champion, but it's the beginning of the end of what was, it's been a dynasty. And like most dynasties, except for the Tom Brady kind of double dynasty, it's the beginning of the end or it's the middle of the end for the Chiefs. What do you think?
And I told you this before. I'm just concerned because the dude has only known success, and I'm talking about Patrick Mahomes since he's been in the league. And that's kind of the way that Brady did it. And even when he did have his lull, they were still competing. They were still winning divisions and getting into the postseason.
Took
and maybe
them a decade to win another Super Bowl almost.
Yeah, well, 29 to me is still young.
Okay.
I think the most likely thing is the second scenario you painted.
Okay.
Is that Bo Nix really blasts into stardom this season. Because I think the defensive one certainly could happen too, and I wouldn't be all that shocked by it. But I still don't know that there's enough name power on that defense to replicate what they did last year.
The Chiefs?
No, the Broncos defense.
Okay, well, watch this. I got a couple things for you here, okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll wrap this show up. It's been a good one. Just in comparison to who and what these teams are, some reasons why the Broncos, some like real statistical reasons why the Broncos could be preparing to pass the Chiefs and have maybe met the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes was sacked 36 times last season, the most in his career. Bo Nix 24 times. Traded away Joe Thuney, right? Thuney, yeah. To the Bears. That's an offensive lineman on a team that is offensively line weak. I mean, like they're just there may be probably in worse shape this year up front than they were last year. Okay. Broncos had 36 sacks, 49 tackles for loss, 142 QB hits last season. Okay. The Chiefs had 39 sacks, 87 tackles for loss, 112 QB hits. Broncos, those are big statistical jumps. Okay, as
bosses into real big
underground drills. And the Chiefs' defense, we all think, carried them all the way to a Super Bowl, right? Look at these numbers for the Broncos. Okay, last one here. Let's see. Not worth it. Let's wrap this bad boy up. So, yeah, I think here we've gone through a lot of kind of scenarios that have the Broncos having a chance to win this division. And for me, Sean, easy pump the brakes on. This is the 7th time I've ever, loved like this. How about we just win the division, get that home playoff game that he talked about, be able to match and meet the Bills, the Ravens, the Chiefs, and maybe the Bengals, okay? At that point, then we take that jump, and then maybe the stardom happens. Maybe the defense does ascend to kind of special places. Anything else before we get out of here?
Well, we didn't even get into last year. Bo Nix put up these numbers.
Yeah.
And he did it with what in the stable?
Not much.
Not a lot
at all.
They didn't have anything in the backfield.
A reject and a bunch of fat kid and a bunch of rejects, right?
Pretty easy, isn't it, Rodriguez?
Yeah. You shut your mouth, Phillips.
So you would think like, okay, he had that type of year, which if you put that up in just in the annals of history against any other rookie quarterback, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Now he has weapons. Now you have Evan Ingram. Now you have a running game that you think is going to be
two
happening.
new horses in the run.
Where I will
running
pump
game.
the brakes on that, though, is, and there's another Moneyballism, If he's a good hitter, then why doesn't he hit good? If the offensive line is so good,
Yeah.
we need to start seeing it.
All right. Good stuff. Great show. Chavi, we appreciate you. Couldn't done it without you. Cello, you're a pro. You're a pro's pro. For Marcello Romano, I am Danny Williams. Like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. Hit the likes. Comment. Some people have been commenting on stuff. I love that. We appreciate the interaction, the participation. Good night, Sheila.
Yeah, whatever, Alan. Go inside.